before we begin our class, let's take a few moments first just to settle the body and settle into the practice. Making sure that you are in a comfortable position. Your legs can be crossed or out in front, or you could sit in Vajrasana, whatever is comfortable for you. But the most important thing is that you are steady and comfortable in whatever position that you take. Your hands are on your knees in a mudra of your choice. Spine is straight and head and neck are aligned with the spine. Shoulders are back and down, opening up the chest, but they are relaxed. And the eyes and the mouth are lightly closed. Now take a long, deep inhalation, a full, deep yogic breath in. And when you exhale, separate yourself from all the events that have happened for you today. And again, another long, deep yogic breath in. And this time, when you exhale, release all of the interactions and conversations that you've had today with whoever they may have been with and whatever form they may have taken. Just let them all go. And one more time, another long, deep inhalation. This time, when you exhale, release any thoughts of anything you need to do outside of this class, any feelings of obligation, anything on your to-do list, just let it all go. And give yourself the gift of being right here and right now. There's nothing else you need to do at this moment, but to be present. And returning now to the natural breath and observing how the natural breath fills the abdomen with air and the chest with air on the inhalation. And on the exhalation, the chest subsides and the abdomen subsides. And checking in with your body now and just observing if there is any pain or irritation in the body. And just be mindful of that when we do the class. If something's not right for you, please listen to your body and do something else or even visualize the practice. And now bring the awareness gently up to the eyebrow center and rest it here for a few moments and visualize at the eyebrow center a steady candle flame. And together now we'll chant Om 3 times, Om Shanti, and the Shanti mantra to pay respect to our traditions and to each other so that we can all learn together without ill will. So breathing in first for Om chanting. Om. 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 Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Hari Om. Om Sahana Bhavatu. Sahano Bhunaktu. Sahaviryam Karavavahe. Tejasvinadvadhitamastu. Ma Vidvishavahe. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Hari Om. And now let's begin our practice by first clearing the space so that you can sit in the base position, Parambik Sthiti. The legs out in front of the body and the hands are behind the buttocks with the fingers pointing away, checking with your posture. And just take a few moments in this position. And we're going to begin with ankle rotation. So in this practice, you will move the foot, the entire foot, just from the ankle joint. We'll begin in a clockwise direction, inhaling on the upward movement and exhaling on the downward movement, really slowing down the practice. We'll do 5 rounds in each direction and placing the awareness in the ankle joint. Trying to coordinate the breath with the movement, aiming for that body, breath, mind connection. You may like to close your eyes while you are completing the practice, allowing the senses to withdraw. After you finish your 5 rounds in each direction, come back to stillness and just observe the effects of the practice. Our next practice will bring our right foot in front of the buttock. Clasp the hands underneath the right knee and lift the leg off the ground. This is knee rotation. So in a clockwise direction, just rotate the bottom half of the leg. So there's just the bottom part of the leg, aiming for large circles. It's quite an awkward practice when you haven't done it before, for sure. We'll do 5 rounds in each direction. Again, really slowing it down and observing what's happening for you in the knee joint. And again, checking in with your posture, making sure the spine is straight. And when you've completed your practice, bring the right foot back to the floor in front of the buttock and then gently slide the leg along the floor to protect the knee. And take a few moments to observe the difference between right and left, and then complete the same practice on the left knee rotation. And when you've completed your rounds on the left side, come back to the base position. And again, closing the eyes and observing the effects of the practice. For our next practice, we'll move further up the leg to the hips, and keeping in with the theme of rotation, we'll move to hip rotation. So for this practice, again, bringing the right foot in front of the buttocks and then bringing the knee out to the side. The left leg is out in front. You can either, with the right foot, have it on the inside of the left thigh or bring it up to the top of the left thigh. Clasp the right hand on the knee and the left hand on the top of the right foot. And then you're going to guide your knee in a circle so that you are rotating it. So it will depend on your range of movement, how big or small the circles will be. But just really explore the practice first if you're new to this. So we'll go first in a clockwise direction, and you can lift your foot off the leg, off the right foot off the left leg in order to make those circles. But be sure to bring the knee up to the abdomen and the chest as you are doing that. 5 rounds in each direction. Again, placing the awareness, this time in the hip, and observing what's going on for you in the hip joint. When you finish your 5th round in each direction, be sure to bring the foot flat again in front of the buttock, the right foot, and then again slide your leg along the floor, just again to protect the knee. And then take a few moments to observe the difference between right and left, and then complete the practice on the left leg and in the left hip. So left foot in front of the buttock, either on the inside of the right foot or up on the right thigh, left hand on left knee, right hand on the top of the left foot, and then guiding in a clockwise direction first, the knee in a circular movement and placing the awareness in the hip joint. 5 rounds again in each direction. And again, being mindful when you come out of the practice, left foot to the floor and then sliding the leg along the floor. And taking a few moments to observe how your body is responding to the practices so far in the lower body. And we'll now move into Tadasana, the butterfly posture, bringing both feet in front of the buttocks and then bringing the soles together, allowing the knees to fall out to the floor, trying to bring the feet in as closely as you can to the buttocks without pushing or straining, and allowing the knees to fall out to the floor, clasping the hands around the feet, checking in with your posture. Head should be up, spine straight. Inhale Bring the knees up towards the arms. Exhale, allow the knees to fall towards the floor. You can allow a little bit of pressure on the knees, but not too much, just to guide them a little bit closer. And you'll observe with each of these rounds that your knees will be able to go a little bit further, a little bit closer to the floor. We'll complete 10 rounds of this practice, trying to, again, coordinate the breath with the movement. When you've completed your 10 rounds in your own time, come back to the base position. By first bringing the knees together and sliding the legs along the floor. And taking time, just observing the movement of energy in the bottom half of the body, particularly in those hip joints after this practice. We'll move now to the upper body. We'll begin with the arms, particularly the wrists. So bringing the arms out in front of the body at shoulder height. Place the thumbs on the palms and wrap the fingers around the thumbs. Then we're going to rotate the hands from the wrist joints, so wrist rotation. So inhaling and then moving the hands first in a clockwise direction, exhaling on the downward movement and up again. So we'll complete 5 rounds in each direction, placing the awareness in the wrist joints and also observing what's happening up the forearms as well as a result of this practice. And after you've reached your 5th round in each direction, rest the arms for a few moments. And now we'll begin shoulder rotation. So bringing the arms out in front of the body, palms up, and then place the right fingertips to the right shoulder, left fingertips to the left shoulder. Bring the elbows together in front of the body. Again, checking with your posture. Inhale, bringing the elbows up. Exhaling as you bring them down behind the body and then back in front of the chest again. Complete 5 rounds in each direction. And if you can, close the eyes and just observe, particularly the top of the shoulders and the loosening of tension in the top of the shoulders from this practice. And after you've reached your 5th round, place the hands on top of the knees, keeping the eyes closed. Just being the witness. We'll now put our attention to the neck. Before we do the next practice, please be very mindful of this practice. Be gentle. Make sure that you are first checking your own range of movement and make sure the movement is very smooth and even. This practice is neck rotation. So your posture is super important for this practice. Inhale and then exhale, bringing the chin to the chest. And then bringing the right ear over to the right shoulder, inhaling as you bring the head back to where is comfortable for you, no pushing or straining. Left ear to left shoulder, and then exhale, bringing the chin to the chest again. Complete up to 5 rounds of this practice. Again, really slowing it down and being very gentle. And when you finish your final round, come back to the base position and keep the eyes closed if that's right for you. And again, just observing all of the practices that we have completed so far. The ankles, the knees, the hips, the wrists, the shoulders, and now the neck. Our next practice will be quite a dynamic practice. Again, keeping in with our theme on rotation. Bring the legs apart widely to where is comfortable for you, but wider than hip width. Spine is straight. Clasping the hands in front at shoulder height. This is churning the mill. So it's like you're stirring a big pot. So inhale and then exhale, lean forward, keeping the arms up, and then swing the arms over to the right foot. Lean back, taking up at the abdomen, and then bringing the arms over the left. So complete 5 rounds in each direction, going at whatever speed is right for you, but making sure that you are taking up at the abdomen at the back and keeping the arms up. And also remembering to breathe. So it's exhaling forward and then inhaling as you bring the arms back. And this practice fires up Manipur chakra. And once you've finished your practice in your own time, come back to the base position and just give yourself some time to rest and observe the movement of energy. as a result of this practice. Now we'll move to a standing position. So we'll do a practice on the way up. So we'll do head to foot pose on the way up. Head to foot pose is when you allow the top half of the body to hang over the bottom. You can either have your arms by the feet or even clasp the elbows behind the knees for a deeper practice. Just allowing gravity to do its work before then very mindfully rolling up vertebrae by vertebrae to a standing position. So standing in a standing Shavasana, so legs are about hip width apart to begin with. Arms are loose by the sides. Head and neck are aligned with the spine. Shoulders are back and down but relaxed. And with the eyes closed, just observe and feel steady and comfortable in your standing position. Feel the ground or the floor beneath your feet. We'll begin in our standing position, completing Tadasana, the palm tree pose. Feet should be closer together for this one. Hands are entwined like this. Arms are straight. Find a point on the wall that is not moving so that you can fix your gaze, because this is a semi-balancing posture. Inhale, bring the arms straight and the interlock fingers above the head. And then when you have found your point on the wall and you feel steady, gently raise the heels off the floor and come onto the front of the feet. And stretch right through the body. Stretch as much as you can stretch, like a rubber band, stretching the full body. Then exhale, bring the hands to the top of the head and bring the heels back to the floor. This is one round. Complete another 4 rounds. Trying to hold the final round a little bit longer than the others. And once you've reached your 5th round, come back to the standing Shavasana. Again, taking your own time. We'll move now to Tadasana, the swaying palm tree pose. Legs are much wider apart, so a bit wider than hip width apart. And again, interlocking the fingers in front of the body and arms are straight. Inhale, raise the straight arms above the head and stretch up in the middle here. Inhaling and then exhale and then dig the left foot into the floor and move the body over to the right. Feeling that stretch up the left side of the body. Inhale, back to center, stretching up. Exhale, bringing the arms over and the body over to the left. Again, digging the right foot into the floor to just increase the stretch a little bit. And then exhale, come back to center. Inhale, back to center. This is I'll complete 5 rounds of this practice. So we've done 1. And be very mindful of trying to keep the body straight and the arms straight. It's more important that the arms are straight, and even if you can't move over to each side, to a huge degree, it's more important that the arms are straight. And make sure that it's almost like you're imagining you're in between two pieces of glass, so you're not tilting forward or back. And after your final round of this practice, again, coming back to standing Shavasana, bringing the legs together, hip width apart, releasing the arms, and just observing. We'll now do a rotation of the spine, Kati Chakrasana. So bring the legs at hip width apart, bring the arms out to the side. First of all, bring the right hand over to the left shoulder and wrap the left arm behind the waist, gazing over the left shoulder. Feeling that spinal twist. Then inhale, arms out to the side. Exhale, left hand to right shoulder, wrapping the left arm behind the waist and looking over the right shoulder. Now, we'll complete 10 rounds of this practice. You can go as slowly or as dynamically as you would like, but make sure that you actually feel into each round of the practice before you move on to the next one. After your 10th round, come back to standing Shavasana. And come back to stillness. Feeling steady on your feet before we go into our final posture for the class, which will be the one-legged prayer pose. And so for this practice, if you are able to hold your practice, please do so. We'll just do one round on each leg, beginning with the right leg. So putting your weight onto the left and just do this practice to where you are in your own practice. So it might be that you put the right heel just on the floor on the inside of the ankle, or you can bring the sole of the right foot further up to the left thigh. But whatever you do, don't put it on the inside of the knee because it can actually cause damage when you do that. So find a point on the wall that, again, so it's not moving, so you can fix your gaze and be steady. And then bring the sole of the right foot on the inside of the left leg, wherever that is for you. And then bring the palms together in front of the body. And then if you want to go a bit further, you can bring the palms above the head. And just hold for your own duration. And then when it's right for you, move on and do the same practice on the left leg. And when you've completed in your own time, come back down into a sitting position for pranayama. So in a sitting position, check in with your posture. Check in that the spine's straight and head and neck are aligned. The shoulders are open, opening up the lungs. And with the eyes closed, just observing first the natural breath, allowing the natural breath to regulate after our asanas. And our pranayama practice will be ujjayi breath. So for ujjayi breath, it's like a small constriction of the throat, and it's been likened to a baby snoring or the sound of the ocean. A way to make this happen as well is to do Kichari Mudra, which is curling the tongue to the roof of the mouth. So that's one way if you can do that. And that is an almost like automatic constriction of the throat. And so it sounds like this. I'm not sure if you'll be able to hear it, but I'll give it a go. It's almost like really heavy, deep sleep. And once you get this practice, once it's happened, you can hear the breath through the constriction of the throat, breathing through the nose, of course. I want you to visualize a pathway of the breath. On the inhalation, visualize a pathway going from the navel to the throat. And then on the exhalation, visualize that pathway going from the throat to the navel. And now with the ujjayi breath and the pathway, add a mantra, which is on the inhalation, the mantra so, and on the exhalation, the mantra is hum. And so hum means I am this consciousness. And now release the mantra and release the pathway and release Kichari Mudra if that's what you're doing, and come back to the natural breath. Release the Ujjayi pranayama practice. And once back in the natural breath, very gently and mindfully lie down in Shavasana to begin our Yoga Nidra practice. Ensure that you are warm enough so that you don't need to move throughout the practice. You may need a cushion to go under the knees to support the back. Whatever you need to be comfortable, get this now. And ensure that in Shavasana, the legs are hip widths away from the body, all tensions released from the legs. The feet are flopping to the sides. The arms are a little bit away from the body with the palms facing the sky. There's balance between left and right sides of the body. Take a long, deep inhalation now. And when you exhale, release any remaining tension from the body and allow it to melt into the floor. And release any remaining expressions on the face. Unclench the jaw, unclench any muscles behind the eyes. Just allow the whole body to relax. And feel the body's contact against the floor. Feel the heels against the floor, the back of the legs against the floor. Feel the buttocks against the floor, the back and the shoulders and the neck. Feel them all against the floor. Feel the back of the hands and the arms against the floor. And feel the back of the head against the floor. And observe how all of these different points of contact make one plane of contact between the body and the floor. And become aware now of sound. Listen first for sounds that are way off in the distance. Don't try and identify or name the sounds. Just move your awareness from one sound to the next as you hear it. And now move the sound awareness a little closer to the sounds outside the room where you are. And bring your sound awareness closer still to the sounds inside the room where you are. And now bring the sound awareness into the body. First, observing the sound and the sensation of the heartbeat. And now observing the sound and the sensation of the natural breath. Release the sound awareness now and call to mind your Sankalpa, or positive intention if you have one. Mentally repeat it 3 times now. We'll now rotate the awareness around the body. Listen to my instructions, and when I say the name of a body part, place your awareness there, visualize that part, and mentally repeat the name of that part. And we'll begin with the right side of the body and the right hand thumb. First finger, second, third, and little finger. Palm of the right hand, back of the right hand, the wrist, forearm, elbow, upper arm, shoulder, armpit, right side of the chest, right waist, hip, thigh, knee, shin, calf, heel, ankle, sole of the right foot, top of the right foot, right big toe, second toe, third, fourth, and little toe. Moving now over to the left side of the body with the left hand thumb, first finger, second, third, little finger, palm of the left hand, back of the left hand, the wrist, forearm, elbow, upper arm, shoulder, armpit, left side of the waist, left hip, thigh, knee, shin, calf, heel, ankle, sole of the left foot, top of the left foot, left big toe, second toe, third, fourth, and little toe. And moving now to the back of the body with the heels, the back of the legs, the buttocks, the small of the back, the middle of the back, the shoulder blades, the space between the shoulder blades, the back of the neck, and the entire spinal column, the back of the head, and the crown of the head. And moving now around to the face with the forehead, the temples, the eyebrows, and the eyebrow center, the eyes, the ears, the cheeks, the nose, the lips, the jaw, the chin, the throat, the collarbones, and the pit of the throat, the right side of the chest, the left side of the chest, and the center of the chest, the right side of the abdomen, the left side of the abdomen, and the navel, the right side of the pelvis, the left side of the pelvis, and the groin, the whole right leg, the whole left leg, and both legs together, the whole right arm, the whole left arm, and both arms together, the whole torso, the whole neck, the whole head, the whole front of the body, the whole back of the body, and the whole body. Have a sense now, all at once, the whole body. Release the body rotations now, returning the awareness to the natural breath, and observe how subtle the natural breath has now become. And also observe the rise and fall of the navel in response to the natural breath. We'll now add a count to the natural breath in the following way. Counting backwards from 14, breathing in 14, breathing out 14, breathing in 13, breathing out 13. Just counting backwards from 14 along with the natural breath. And if you lose count, begin again. And if you reach 1, begin again. And if the mind wanders, remember to use the breath just like an anchor. Bring it back to the practice. Release the count now. And instead, feel the following opposite sensations in the body. The body's feeling hotter and hotter. The body feels like it's outside on a sweltering summer's day. The body's feeling hotter and hotter, like it's outside in the sun on a sweltering summer's day. Release this feeling of heat now. Replace it instead with a feeling of coldness. The body's feeling colder and colder. The body feels like it's outside on a freezing winter's evening. The body feels colder and colder, like it's outside on a freezing winter's evening. Release this feeling of cold now and exchange it instead with a feeling of heaviness. The body's feeling heavier and heavier. The body feels like it's made out of stone and it's pressing against the floor. The body's feeling heavier and heavier, like it's made out of stone and it's pressing against the floor. Release this feeling of heaviness now and replace it instead with a feeling of lightness. The body is feeling lighter and lighter. The body feels as though it's as light as a cloud and it's floating along the sky. The body is feeling lighter and lighter, just like a cloud floating along the sky. And release this feeling of lightness now. Release all of these sensations completely. And instead, come to the space of the mind, space behind the closed eyes, also known as Chittakash. And in this space, see, imagine, visualize or create the following objects and images. A red rose. A red rose. An orange sunrise. An orange sunrise. A fluffy yellow baby chick. A fluffy yellow chick. A green rolling meadow. A green rolling meadow. The limitless blue ocean. The limitless blue ocean. An indigo midnight sky. An indigo midnight sky. A field of lavenders swaying in the breeze. A field of lavender swaying in the breeze. And release these objects now and call to mind your Sankalpa or positive intention if you have one. Mentally repeat it 3 times now. And allow the breath to deepen now in the body. And as you do, observe the movement it creates. Observe how on the inhalation it moves the back against the floor. Check in with your body now and observe how you feel at this moment. The practice of Yoga Nidra is coming to a close. Remember the details of the room where you are, the color of the mat, the color of your coverings. Remember the time of day and begin to hear the sounds around you and remember the world attached to those sounds. Begin to make small movements with the fingers and the toes, allowing the body to gently externalize and move and stretch in a way that's right for you. You may like to raise the arms above the head for a full body stretch. Gently move the head from side to side. When it's right for you, please roll onto your right side for a few moments. And then in your own time, very gently and mindfully, the eyes closed or downcast, come up into a comfortable sitting position, really trying to maintain this peaceful state that you have created. And now with the eyes closed, check in with your body again and observe how you feel now compared to when we began our class. And then very gently move the awareness to the eyebrow center. And at this point, visualize a steady candle flame. And together now, we'll chant Om 3 times and Om Shanti to conclude our practice. Breathing in for Om chanting. Om. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Hari Om. Hari Om Tat Sat.